We are totally mismatched height. I need to get taller or just jump a lot in this video so that I'm in the frame.
So, hello!
We are Annie and Konstantin.
And you're watching another episode of...
Updates.
And we're on the move again. Because that's something we do sometimes.
So what's up, Konstantin? What happened this week?
Well, actually not that much. Again, I think it's kind of interesting because the, updates always was an experiment. We wanted to document our trials and tribulations in working the indie film area, and the last couple of weeks it seems like we're losing ground. What do you think about that, Annie?
I was just thinking that we actually do have news that you don't know about yet. Whoops! There's some progress with the depression and anxiety life hacks. There are going to be 2 further episodes that I'm going to dedicate to our good friend Birgit, who put them in my mind. So what's happening right now is that I am writing 4 different episodes. So in the next few weeks, that's going to be most of what I'm doing because Konstantin is really busy with other things and then is going to be in Israel for a couple of weeks, which gives me a lot of time, which I'm going to use to keep writing and keep collecting life hacks. So pretty much when Konstantin gets back, middle of March, I assume we're gonna have 5 scripts locked and loaded so we can just, shoot like crazy people and put them out one after the other. That's kind of my plan right now. I don't know what you think about that.
Man, now you totally ruined my introduction. Thanks a lot.
I'm sorry, we haven't talked about it. This is what happens when we don't talk for a couple of days.
Really? New episodes?
Yes.
Huh. Cool. I think I like that. Well then, epiphanies?
Epiphanies.
Epiphanies?
Epiphanies.
Epiphanies. Well, I think my last epiphanies, they were quite personal. They're very self-centered. And I was pondering things on a more general scale last week. I've been thinking about privilege and my generation. And obviously I started with thinking, as a kid you think you want to do that and that and that by that age, which is a normal thing to do, which is all the people do. But I came to realize that I'm not, by far not in the place I would expect I would be, speaking of, perspective, financial security, things like that. But also that frankly, I don't know many people of my age who are. Most of the people I know, if not all of them, are struggling in one way or the other. Are trying to make sense and to find a way. Because I think the circumstances, they are so unpredictable. And I think that's the thing that unites us. And we are with we I talk about people brought up in the first world countries with a good education and things like that. And still we're struggling. So I honestly can't tell how people in other countries with other life circumstances must feel. And this is a thing that we should be aware, or I should be aware, but I think you should too, because if you're watching this, chances are that you're in a very privileged position. And this is cool. There is potential there is power there, simply by being you, by being in your surroundings right now. There's so much you can do, simply by realizing that there is potential, that you can do things. And you should. And so do I. So that's for this week.
This is both an old and a new epiphany. I, a few years back, adopted this attitude that I'm just going to say things. I'm just going to be open about stuff and tell my stories and say what I think and feel, because I'm certifiably crazy, and that puts me in the unique position of not having to seem sane. You know how you watch a movie and you get really, really frustrated with all the main characters, because after like the first, 15 minutes of them establishing all the issues, you're like, okay, everybody sit down, have a good talk, and we can end this film right here. But instead, they go around for another 90 minutes, or, let it be a book that you're reading, where in the first, 30 pages, you're like, okay, everybody sit down, have a good chat, talk to one another. But instead, they do all the terrible things, and there's a lot of miscommunication. And in the last 5 pages, in the last 5 minutes, they actually sit the fuck down, talk to each other, and you're like, didn't I fucking tell you? So I kind of, always having been frustrated with that, decided to apply that to my own life. So I just say things, which gets me in trouble too. I think there'd be better movies and better stories if after the first 30 pages of establishing all the troubles, everybody sat down, said what they thought, and then got into even deeper shit, but like much more interesting shit. This has kind of been what I do with my life, but it's always very, very strange because it's not the normal thing you do. Anyway, I'm realizing that even when you decide to be open about things, you're still hedging a lot. You're still, thinking about, or at least I am, thinking about how other people will receive the things I say, and trying to be careful about how I phrase things, and trying to be very, very mindful and very, very careful of how I output things. And that sometimes makes you get really stuck too, because then you're just in your mind having hypothetical conversations with this person, and you're saying the things that you feel need to be said hypothetically in 28 different scenarios, trying to figure out which is the best one to, And I think where I'm going with this right now is that we're so afraid to fight. We're so afraid to have an argument and to piss someone off so they can piss you off back, and then you can argue about things and throw things out and then pick through them. Of course, it's not comfortable to be in an argument with someone, but it's productive. It has a lot of momentum, it has a lot of power. And being so really careful and tiptoeing around other people doesn't move the story ahead, It makes you go through 300 pages of useless back and forth until finally things happen. So I think that's kind of my epiphany right now. Don't be so careful, especially with yourself, because you need to say the things that are inside you, and you need to output them, if only to yourself, to actually realize them and not, make big obnoxious mistakes. And don't be afraid with other people, especially people you love either. Talk to them, say the things that need to be said so that they can be processed, so you can move ahead in the story. This is a really dangerous epiphany right now, because of course there's situations where that doesn't apply at all. And don't say these things because the other person isn't ready for it. I hate my epiphany. God damn it. Now I'm hedging my own epiphany. I'm gonna get back to it. Say things. Of course, be careful, don't be careful, just say things. And then deal with the fallout. This is gonna be fallout. Just don't be a dick. That's it. That's the point. Say things, be open, but don't be a dick. And when you fail at being mindful of yourself and others, apologize and mean it. Learn from it, move on, keep talking. That's what I'm going to be trying for the next while, because it's much more fun than shutting up.
So this is also a novelty, because this episode right here has been edited by yours truly, the girl in red.
I'm learning how to video edit, which is a very bold move on Konstantin's part, because he's really banking on his storytelling abilities and, ragged good looks right now to not make himself useless to me. Because when I'm the video editor person, then you're really gonna have to step up your game.
But I'm still gonna be pretty.
Don't worry, you'll be fine. The really scary thing about this is that you're saying this video has been edited by, and it hasn't yet, because right now we're just talking. The editing is in front of me in the next few hours, and I'm kind of nervous. I get to learn new things, and that's good. Anyway.
Hello!